The death of a little girl during the summer 2020 protests in Atlanta made national headlines. Secoriea Turner was 8 years old at the time. She was in a car with her mother when the driver of their car was shot near a burned down Wendy's. The fire at that Wendy's was in protest to police killings of black men across the U.S. The protests we felt here in Atlanta were directly tied to the killing of Rayshard Brooks, who was stopped by Atlanta police, then shot and killed at that Wendy's. The killing of Brooks resulted in marches and looting across the city. The police chief at the time ultimately resigned.
Now, the trial in the 8-year-old's murder has started with opening statements. Prosecutors are trying to prove Julian Conley was the shooter of Secoriea Turner. Atlanta News First Yasmina Alston is live at the Fulton County Courthouse. Yasmina?
And this murder impacted the community 5 years ago during a time of unrest and massive protests here in Atlanta and across the nation. Now prosecutors are trying to get justice for Secoriea Turner and her family. Prosecutors in the trial of an 8-year-old murder argued their case in front of jurors to try and prove this man, Julian Conley, shot and killed Secoriea Turner. The state argues on a July night in 2020, multiple bullets were fired into a car that drove past an armed checkpoint on University Avenue in southwest Atlanta, with one of them striking the child. She was in the back seat, and the prosecution says she screamed to her mom she'd been shot.
She was an 8-year-old little girl sitting in the back seat on their way home, scream her name for the very last time. Because of the deliberate actions of this defendant, because someone had the audacity not to stop this unlawful barricade.
According to police, the family was driving by the burned down Wendy's restaurant where Rayshard Brooks was killed by an officer the month prior. Because of that, armed protesters had taken over that area and fired at Turner's car. Julian Conley was one of 2 men arrested in the murder, but the state says he fired the fatal shot and claimed he was in a gang. Though defense attorneys say the evidence will prove Conley was not the shooter.
What that medical examiner will tell you is that the person who fired that shot, that trajectory is consistent with a person being on the right side of the car or near the back right side of the car to create a low to high, back to front, right to left trajectory.
And several witnesses have already taken the stand, including a MARTA bus driver who drove through the area that night. Turner's mom is also expected to testify. Live at the Fulton County Courthouse, Yasmina Alston, Atlanta News First.